Good. So you ended up doing the second year as well with
Yeah,
us, and then you stayed for a third year. How was your third
did.
year for you?
Oh, I loved it. I think in second year I wasn't. I've said this a million times to many people. In second year I wasn't ready to leave home, so I thought, what is the point in auditioning now, spending however much money it is to audition, and you know not be 100% sure about actually going if I were to get in somewhere. um and I remember one day in what's the lesson you have on the computers in
Oh,
second year?
professional practice.
Oh yeah, something like that. And I remember one day in there, Al, I was with you, and I found soap, because it's Birmingham, I could have stayed and lived at home. And I remember coming to you and saying, Al, have you heard of this place? What do you think of this? And you said, yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah, it's meant to be good. And then you said, or you could stay here. And I said, what? Because you hadn't told us at that point about level 4.
Yeah.
And I said, what do you mean I could stay here? And I was like, all right, I'll stay. And that was it.
Sold.
I was like, okay, I'll stay. Yeah, I remember thinking, oh, this is perfect for me, because it's a place I know, the people know me. And at that point, I don't know who else was going to stay. So I didn't know about friends, but I knew that I was definitely going to stay, even if I was on my own. Imagine.
Just you.
I wouldn't have put it past me.
We'd have made it work.
Yeah, one-on-one, ballet, jazz, tap, singing. Would have been perfect. I'd have loved life. But yeah, I stayed with 3 of my best friends, which was a nice touch. So yeah, it was challenging, because at the end it's the same. I'd say it about my foundation course as well at PPA. You all want the same thing, which is the hardest part, because some people don't get what they want and some people do. And I've I'd say this to the 3 others. I'd say this to them. It's hard when someone gets in on a course that you want to get in on and you don't get that. That's a real kick in the teeth.
Yeah.
Because you've worked just as hard. It might be that they've got something different to you, but that is the, like, I don't know how to put it. It is just how it is. These things happen. Yeah, me and Abby both auditioned, had a recall for PPA on the same day, and I remember finding out that she'd got in, and I was so happy for her, because PPA was where she wanted to be. It was like she just loved it as well. And I remember getting an email to say that I was on the reserve list for the diploma, and I remember thinking to myself, even if I do get in, I can't afford that, because I didn't get funding. So that was like, oh God, what am I gonna do? I remember thinking, I remember ringing my mum, and just at college I was in the bras and I was crying. It was all very, very
stagey.
Yes, that's the right word. And she said, and I remember, I think maybe she was even crying or close to crying, because she was so sad for me.
Yeah.
Because she knew that even if I did get in, she wouldn't be able to afford it, because it is just, that's one thing about drama school. Sometimes it does cost a lot of money, and it's really hard unless you're fortunate enough to be able to do that. Like, there's not really much you can do. So yeah, but still, it's amazing. Like, everyone's offers were amazing, and everyone got in somewhere and did something. So we all went off our separate ways. Well, kind of, me and Abby in the same place. But
just take you back. How did you turn your head around from not getting in to getting an offer? What kind of process did you have to do for yourself?
Well, I remember before I actually got offered the Emil Dale Foundation before I found out about PPA. And I remember thinking, I was in a computer room with Abby and Grace weren't there that day, but I was with Daisy and Carol, and we were in the computer room, and my brother FaceTimed me because he got home from work or wherever he'd been, and he said, there is like a fancy looking envelope here and it's addressed to you. And I said, well, that's from Emil Dale. and I said, oh, okay. I said, go on, you can open it. I don't know why I let him open it, but he opened it, and it was the gap year course. And at that point I was so happy because I knew that I had somewhere to go. Emil Dale's foundation course isn't extortionate. I thought, that's doable, like we can do that, that's fine. And I remember thinking, I'm so happy that I've got into a drama school. At that point, that was my first offer to a drama school. So if anything, it was like I was very happy, because before then you don't really think, oh, you're like, oh, am I actually going to get in anywhere? Am I actually good enough, kind of thing. And then you get that, and it gives you that like bit of hope that you are good enough. And I think that's what helped. So I always had that in the back of my head. Even when I got that PPA reserve list, I knew that I had somewhere to go. And I thought, all right, that's fine then, isn't it? Like I have got that. And then I think we'd broken up I'd finished Stratford. I think it was the beginning of June. I found out that I think PPA sent me an email and said something like, we can't, what did it say? It said something like, we want to offer you the foundation course because we are interested in you still. And I'd actually paid my deposit at Emil Dale. At that point, I'd paid £500
wow,
to secure my place for Emil Dale. And I got that email and I sent it to my mum. I think I was at work when I got it. And I sent it to my mum and I said, I want to go. I want to go to PPA. And I think that's how I knew that that was the place for me, because I didn't think my mind would be changed.
Yeah.
I didn't think anything could change my mind. And then it did.
Wow.
So that email, my mind was like, I want to go there.
Wow. And even with the £500 deposit, even the money wasn't going to keep you there.
No, I had just had my heart set on it.
Yeah.
And part of it was because I think PPA's foundation course is smaller. There's not as many people, which was, perfect for me. I think I had a 2 years in a 45 year person year group, and that's what it was going to be like at Emil Dale. I think it would be different because it was split into 3 different groups, but still, I thought at that point I knew that PPA was a place that I wanted to go. So yeah,
good. So that worked out then. And obviously, so you'd done your 2 years at Stratford, and then you did the 3rd year, so you did all 3 years at Stratford, and you applied to PPA and you got onto foundation. So that sort of brings us nearly up to date. We're sort of 1 year behind where we're at now, and obviously we know a lot about PPA. We work with PPA a lot. They're a fabulous school, Louise and the gang, and they really sort of invest, don't they, in the individual. And I think that happened to you quite a bit, didn't it, really, in foundation? There was quite a lot of moments for you that really highlighted you as Natalie Hunt, the performer and the person. So what was some of the key sort of moments, maybe the challenges or some of the big sort of revelation moments really on foundation at PPA for you then?
I'd say when we started, again, like I said, everyone had the same goal. Although at that point, we didn't really admit it. So this is like September time. We were all like getting to know each other. Everyone was buzzing. Everyone was so happy. We were all in such a good place. Everyone was like, we've got onto foundations, guys. We can do this. We can get a 3-year course. And you know, that was amazing. And we were all just it's so funny to think back. We were all just like a little family. There was, I think, on musical theatre there was 12 or 13 of us foundations, so it was small. There was one boy and the rest girls. And I remember we were just, you know, we were buzzing all the time. We had lessons, and there was so much support from each other. Like in, what can I say, you know, in a dance class, when we go into smaller groups, everyone is just cheering you on at the sides. Everyone, even in singing at the end of a song, everyone's up on their feet. It was such a special, we all had such a special bond, which was just amazing. But like I said, everyone wanted the same thing, which I think then we kind of realized when it was getting a bit closer. We had, at the end of, before Christmas, we had a like mock audition with our head of years. So Lucy was like our all-round head of year, and Rachel was our dance head of year. And we had like a dance round, and we had to do our, I think it was just one song and then one monologue. And it was literally just like, go in, do your stuff and come out. And then obviously a dance class. And at that point, I think everyone was like, oh my God, this is actually happening. In the next couple of months, we're all going to be doing our auditions.
Yeah.
And people are going to get that feeling when you don't know really, you know, should I be happy for someone that they've got in and I haven't? That type of feeling, which obviously it was kind of okay for me because I'd had that feeling before. A lot of people probably hadn't, because a lot of people did come straight from A levels. You know, not many people, there wasn't that many of us that really did like a vocational course like us. And then Christmas, and I had a very personal thing happen. Yeah, my brother passed away. Which was horrible.
It's all right. We said it was going to be warts and all. Ribbit.
Yeah, which was obviously not what anyone expected. And I remember like losing, almost not losing, but my motivation went from here to here.
Yeah.
And I remember one day, it was in the holidays, and I was doing all my applications, and I'd done most of them because most of them were online, but I had a few that were on paper. And I remember Mum saying to me, come on, we got to do these. And I just looked at her and I was like, I just couldn't find that, you know, but I did them. And it was all kind of the type of thing, because she kind of said to me, you know that he'd want you to do it, blah, 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 that type of thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, you're so right, I've got to do it. Come on, pull yourself together. and I did them, and I sent them off. And I went back to college with everyone else at the same time. I think it was just over 2 weeks since my brother passed away. And it was weird, to say the least. I went back, and I was very, I think the first week was strange, because I had to come back to Banbury for his funeral. And I remember on that, it was on the Friday, the funeral, and I remember on the Thursday I left college in the middle of the day to come home, traffic and whatever. So I remember I was in a lesson with Rachel, she was the head of dance. And I remember saying that I'm going, and she just, the way she reacted to me, because she could see, you know, at that point, everyone, all my, like I said, my year group, we were like so close. So everyone kind of knew everything that was going, everyone knew where I was going, you know, why I was going. And, you know, everyone was saying, you know, how it is when people say, have, you know, you'll be okay, kind of that type of supportive stuff. I could feel myself holding back the tears. And I remember thinking, oh, if Rachel says something, I definitely will cry. And all she said to me was, have a good weekend. And she didn't, you know, make a fuss.
Yeah.
Which was the most perfect thing, because I then walked out, and my best friend actually picked me up from Guildford that night, and I went home, and that was that, and that happened. And I went back on the Sunday, raring to go. And I don't know what happened over that weekend, but something clicked, and I was like, this is what I want.
Yeah.
And I got to, I think it was my first audition, I want to say, was something like the 23rd of February. And I think I was a bit of a, I don't know what it was. I think it was because I didn't like being at my student house. I did. That sounds weird, that I didn't get along with people. I did. My housemates were amazing. But I didn't like being there with nothing to do, because I knew that automatically I'd start thinking about things that I didn't need to think about, because I needed to really think about something else. So I used to spend hours and hours staying at PPA after my lessons had finished. I stayed some nights until about 8 o'clock, just going over my audition stuff, going over, you know, I just found a room, whatever was free, worked with what I had, and just sang or danced or did my monologues, and just did them over and over again, because I just thought, this is just, I've been down here. I mean, I was up here beginning of the year. I probably went down here somewhere. And I thought, I've got to come out stronger. And I, you know, I did so much work. I had a crazy amount of legit songs I could have chosen from. I only sang one at all my auditions, but still, you know, I tried. So, you know, I don't know. I just, there was a motivation in me.
You made a decision that was going to be, I was going to do it, and that's what.
Like I knew that it was going to be my year. It had to be. I wanted it to be my year, and in my head, it had to be my year. I'd spent, well, I hadn't spent, my parents spent all this money on a foundation course. I'm not gonna, you know, even though it's the most terrible thing that happened, I'm not gonna let that stop me. Because and then it made me think back then to my mum saying to me in the Christmas holidays, when I didn't want to do my bird and performers applications, her saying, he would have wanted you to do it, so just do it. So I was just like, yes, Mum, you were right. So around that time, actually, I was really, really focused on being healthy and healthy eating and all that type of thing as well. I don't know what it was. Something just changed in my brain. I was like, let's go. Let's go get it, I guess. And I remember, obviously, with everything that happened, I became quite close to my course leaders. Rachel and Lucy, both, if I needed to, were always there to talk to me, and that was amazing, obviously. And I remember I had a chat with Rachel before I left for February half term, and I said, Rachel, because I hadn't gone, so when I came back from the funeral, I didn't go home once until February half term, because I thought, and I said to her about February half term, if I go home, I'm worried I don't want to come back. Because that's what I was worried about. I was worried that I was gonna be home again and feel so at peace and happy and with family that I wouldn't want to come back again. And she said to me, if you don't come back, I will drive to Banbury and come and get you. So I said, okay. And honestly, I came back and I was ready to go back to college and do audition season. So it was a bit crazy. So
So,
it's very
yeah.
probably quite different things happen all the time, but that was quite an extreme case of what happens on your foundation course, because they are hard anyway. And with that, it was tough.
And I think that's a theme at the minute, is tough love, isn't it? Things that Phil said to you, things that your mum has said to you, things that your course tutor has said to you, actually, that little bit of tough love actually is quite valuable at times.
Being cast as the bullfrog.
Yes.
Because out there somewhere, someone's got to love you.
Yes, exactly, Al. You're so right.
There we go.
You're so right.
So you auditioned for PPA?
Yes,
and
I did.
What happened?
I got in.
Woo! Yes.
I did my audition online because of COVID. I went to 2 auditions in all the others were online.
Wow.
Which was an experience as well in itself. Crazy.
Yeah.
But and it's weird as well, because so many auditions, and a lot of the places I auditioned this year, I didn't audition last year. As in, when I was at Stratford, I didn't audition for some of the places that I auditioned for last year. So auditioning online didn't help at all, because I hadn't ever been to these places to know what they're actually like. That was weird. And you just had to try and get a feel from it, from like looking at pictures or videos of the school and that type of thing. And it's just so hard. You just don't know.
Yeah. Wow.
So, yeah. Crazy.
And how did that outcome of those auditions?
I was quite I was happy with my results. I got, what did I get? I got into PPA, the Brighton Academy, Barcelona. Could have been in Spain right now, guys.
Barcelona.
Imagine. Yeah, I got into Barcelona. Barcelona was actually unconditional, I think, and then the other 2 were conditional.
Very good.
And then I got offered another 2 foundations at Performers and Bird.
Wow. Okay.
So at that point, I was like, to be honest, I was a bit shocked, because I remember filming my self-tapes and thinking, I'm dancing in my living room and I'm literally using a chair as my ballet bar. I'm doing this and I'm doing this. It's going to be awful. It's going to be wrong. And I remember filming them, and whether I was as happy as I could have been with the self-tapes. But I remember thinking to myself, well, because I think I filmed them all on the same day. Every school I did. And it was crazy. Everyone wanted so many different things.
Yeah.
Which was that was a tough one, because I didn't know. I was like, which school wants what? I filmed so many videos. You're just like, oh, goodness me. And I remember thinking, I mean, they're the best they're going to be. Let's send them off. Who knows what the outcome is going to be? And I was shocked. I was very, very shocked. I was lucky enough my Brighton audition was in person, and I had a recall online. So that was a bit better, because I'd been to the school and, I'd had that first kind of look into it. But the others, I'd never, obviously Barcelona, didn't go there. they came into PPA. That was my first audition. They came into PPA and saw us. But Bird and Performers I'd never been to ever. Gosh. I didn't audition at them. So, it was amazing. But here we are.